You're listening to The Sacred CEO, your go-to mini podcast for energy-boosted business magic. I'm Elyse Falzone, your spiritual sage, and here we treat your business like the living, breathing soul that it is. Energy meets strategy. Each episode, I'll channel insights, check in with the chakra blueprint of your organization, and give your business the soulful upgrade it's been waiting for. Let's make business sacred and successful. Going in today's episode, there's a convergence of stories that are coming together, a convergence of analogies that are going to come through in this expression-sode. Expression-sode? Ooh, that's kind of a new name for an episode. In this expression-sode, is your business tethered or is your business flying? And at what point in time do you need to adjust the height of the flight in order to support your business? During our time together today, we're going to be using the analogy of hot air balloons. I have had the beautiful honor and privilege to be able to go up in a hot air balloon 4 or 5 times at this point in time now. And I love them so much. They're so whimsical. They're so beautiful. They're so peaceful. And yet, there's a science to them, the way the heat and the fire blows, the way that it drips, the way that you have to blow the balloon up. If you've not ever experienced a hot air balloon ride, I highly suggest you do it. It's super fun. It is a little scary the first time, I'm not gonna lie. Looking over the edge and feeling like there's nothing underneath you, but there is, just a really thin basket. Anyway, the intention today is to help you decipher and to take a look both psychically, intuitively, and systemically, right? The systems in your business, where you are tethered, where you are flying. And when I say you, I really mean your business. Where is your business taking flight? Where is your business being tethered and you're trying to take flight? When do you actually need to come and tether to the earth so that you can take a space before your next launch? We're going to look at all of that inside of this episode today. The first time this analogy came forward was actually when I was channeling and facilitating an event called Decoded. Shout out to my Movers and Shakers crew. And I was there and I was facilitating and channeling businesses and the soul of businesses and the voices of businesses, just like I do on this podcast. But inside of this beautiful meditative experience and inside of this expression, something around the hot air balloons came forward. And where and when these moments where we feel like we're off to the races and we're running and we're like, yes, we can do it. But our hot air balloon ropes are still tethered to the ground. And we haven't actually allowed our business's voice to break free and to be heard and to be seen and to actually allow the voice of the business to lead. That we actually smother the flight of these balloons and we smother the flight of our businesses when our own brains try to override what the essence and energy of your business wants to share. Now, I will also say this. I recently, this isn't public information, but it's about to become public information when I share this. But my husband and I have always had this synergistic way of being together in relationship, in business, in conversations, in strategy. We know how to read each other's hearts and minds really beautifully. And I can see in his business those blocks, and he can see in my business those blocks, and we really act as strategists for each other. Recently, very, 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 very recently, I have brought my husband on board as the COO of my business. And it's, like I said, kind of behind the scenes right now. It's not like a public launch, but this is a public launch, so I'm laughing really hard. So those of you who are listening to this, you're going to be in the know. But I'm saying this and I'm bringing this forward because as this has happened, and I mean, we're talking about like a week or two. So this is like brand new, which is why I'm not really intentionally publicizing this yet, but it feels very important to get this point across in this episode right now, is that since bringing him on, he has supported me not only with my visions, but with things that I have struggled to bring to life and to also be those eyes and ears that I'm missing in my own business. Y'all, we have our blocks, we have our blind spots, and we have our human psyche and our human egos that feel like our business has to go a certain way. But we don't see it in a new perspective until it's shown to us, which is what I love the most about what I do inside of businesses, in working with you as the creator, as the CEO, as the sacred CEO, and working with your business, is that the voice of the business is usually saying something a little bit different than what you are saying to me. And so we tune in to that voice of the business and we don't smother the heat or the fire of that hot air balloon. We implemented something today in my business that I'm so excited about, and it's going to be built out and it's beautiful. But I was stifling my own growth inside of this. And so when we're stifling our own growth, we are tethering ourselves. Even though the fire is burning and it's burning and it's burning and this hot air balloon is trying to get up, if those tethers and your fist are so closed around the attachment of what the business is supposed to do or not supposed to do, it will never fly to the mile mark. It will never fly to that bird's eye perspective. It will never fly the way that you want it to. And so we've got to allow the untethering of those ropes. Listen to the fire of the hot air balloon, aka your business. And as your business begins to soar, you're going to pay attention. Is it going north? Is the wind blowing south? Do you want to stay a little lower and closer? Do you want to go up even higher above the skyscrapers? The business is going to show you naturally how it wants to drift through space, how it wants to direct itself. If you start lowering too much in the hot air balloon, you kick up the passion, you kick up the fire, and it raises the balloon higher. You want to go lower, it's choop, 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 these short little fire spurts. And it lessens and it lessens and it lowers and it drifts. An important piece here, because for some of you, I can already hear you saying, yeah, but like, don't I also want to be tethered? Yes, we always want to be tethered. Anytime I go into some like crazy journey, whether it's plant medicine, ayahuasca, psilocybin, deep meditations, ancestral healing, like whatever, if I'm going into the field in a really big way, and even when I'm doing this podcast, really, I always want to be anchored. I want to tether to the earth and I want to tether to the heavens, always and forever. Always, 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 wrapped around my waist. This is a really great practice, by the way, if you don't know how to do this. You can envision right now wrapping this golden rope around your waist. One of those ropes, one end goes deep into the earth, the core of the earth, in the most sacred, beautiful womb of Mother Earth. Deep breath there. And around the waist again, and that other side of that rope, that golden rope tethers up into the heavens. For me, the Christ consciousness energy, holy divinity, source code, source of all. And you're tethered in both ways. It keeps you stable and strong and rooted in foundation while simultaneously allowing yourself to receive the intuitive messages through the body. So this is the same thing with your business. While we are talking about the ropes, we want to untether the ropes. We want your business to soar. Something that so many have no idea about a hot air balloon, and especially in Egypt. So I'll talk about my Egypt experience here for a moment. I've been to Egypt twice now, once as a participant with my very beautiful dear friend Joey McCune, and once as a co-facilitator just literally a couple months ago. I returned from Egypt. And I could talk a whole bunch about Egypt, and maybe we'll do that on a different podcast. But going there and receiving all the beautiful codes and the spiritual pilgrimage, we also get to do fun things. And one of the fun things that we get to do is go in a hot air balloon overlooking the Valley of the Kings, which is where they bury a lot of the kings and the queens and those who ruled and ran the lands over the years and over the times. Like King Tut is buried there. So we go up, but the thing is, even though the ropes come untethered, right? And really there they don't have the ropes. I've been on one where they actually have it like roped down. In Egypt, they just have a bunch of men that hold the basket until you're ready to release. But there is a team on the ground in a truck, in a van, and they are following your every move in the hot air balloon. So even though we've released those tethers, those ropes that are holding the business hostage to the ground, we release them, we let them fly. There's always a ground team who is helping and supporting, watching where that balloon goes, so that when it's time to anchor in, when it's time to land, when it's time to ground, when it's time to celebrate, they are right there and they are ready to receive us upon landing. So where right now are you resisting in your business? What is the biggest area holding you back? Thick, strong rope holding your business down on the ground. You are trying to fire at all cylinders, but something isn't working. And that flame and that fire isn't strong enough to release those ropes, because your fire is going one way and the ropes are going another. And there's something that's missing, and there's something that you're not willing to look down and say, oh, I can just untie the rope. So what is the tether in your business that you get to release? Are you flying? How high do you want to fly? And are you flying so high right now that your business is looking chaotic? Because you could also be at the other spectrum, where business is chaotic. It is not simple enough to scale. Your business is floating here and it's floating there, and maybe you actually need to anchor and ground and bring a tether in, because that's very possible too. But always know that you are fully and wholly supported. Who is your ground team? Who is your human team that supports you? Now, for many of you listening, you may be solopreneurs. You may have yourself and yourself and yourself, and you turn around and it's yourself. For some of you, you're going to have maybe a small team of one or two, maybe an assistant, maybe a social media manager or something like that. For some of you, you're going to have bigger businesses and possible employees and whatnot. But even if you are in the business yourself as a solopreneur, I want you to really ask yourself, who is your ground team that supports you? For me, it's my husband. For me, it's some of my best girlfriends that I can call and say, hey, I just really need you to celebrate me in this moment right now. My clients are also really powerful ground team supporters. Photographers, my coach, right? There are people in your life that are your ground team supporters. So I want you to tune into that for a moment and write it down and send gratitude out to those ground team supporters right now. Then you're going to also ask yourself, who and what is your divine team supporters? For some of you, this is going to like fly right over your head. You're going to be like, what? I didn't even know. Okay, I'm going to do an episode on this. Maybe I'll do an episode next week on this. Stay tuned. We're going to do this. I'm going to put this in. We're going to do a process where you can meet your divine team. This is a very powerful process where you can actually have your board meeting and your divine marketing team. I talk a lot about your divine marketing team. Angels, guides, ancestors, specific guides who have been put into place for your business to help you. You're never alone. So where is your business at in the hot air balloon ride? Is it struggling to get off the ground and you can't figure out how to untether? Is it flying so high that you need to like chill, contain, release some of the chaos? Or are you somewhere in the middle where you've found a harmony? You've released those leverage points and those tethers. You're flying. You can see that you're supported in all spaces and places. It's clear skies. You're allowing your business to lead. You know you've got your team and you're on autopilot in the most beautiful, profound way. That's a sweet spot. It's a sweet spot. And then you add in the sunrise or the sunset, maybe a cool mist rolling through the air. It's possible to have the balance, but you must first see and witness and become clear and aware of any of those blocks, any of those blind spots, and the places that are holding you back. And don't be afraid to look in the mirror. Don't be afraid to look down at those ropes on that hot air balloon and say, okay, I'm ready to untie this and listen to the voice of that fire of my business. Let me know what you learned from this. Send me some things. Comment, like, share, send me a DM. I want to know what's up. I want to know what is happening in your business. And don't forget, businesses are their own souls. They have their own entities. They have their own wishes and desires and visions that are in congruency and in conjunction and in collaboration with you as the creator. So many blessings, so much love. Make sure you let us know if you want to be featured on the podcast. Sacred CEO. Boom, boom, boom. See y'all later. Thanks for tuning in to The Sacred CEO, your go-to mini podcast for energy-boosted business magic. I'm Elyse Falzone, your spiritual sage, and I'll see you on the next round. And for those of you who are ready for your own business soulful upgrade, be sure to click the link below in the show notes to apply to have your business featured on the show. Love and awakening. Bye-bye.